All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Peak Politics Podcast. This is going to be our 7th episode, recording this on August 29th at 1:22 p.m. Central. We're going to have not exactly a shorter episode, but a few less topics. The week was exciting in a few ways and boring in others. RNC took up a considerable amount of coverage, similar to last week. So we'll be discussing a lot about the RNC. And then other main stories, of course, going to be Jacob Blake, Kyle Rittenhouse, things of that nature. Breonna Taylor, a couple other stuff like that. And then we'll be talking about what I think is really some of the most interesting news of the week, outside of some of the stuff going on with Kyle Rittenhouse, would be some of the Republicans running for Congress right now. New Republicans, people that haven't been in office before. So some of the fresh faces we're seeing in the congressional races, which I think are pretty interesting. And some Democrat strongholds, places in New Jersey, Maryland, Pennsylvania. So we'll have a link to some pages for these candidates. If you live in any of their districts, it'd be great if you could go support them. I think that about wraps up our introduction. You want to dive into the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff, Wyatt?
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, let's discuss what this is all about.
Awesome. Well, you can go ahead and start.
Okay, well, I guess the reason I want to talk about this, for me, this is kind of the number one story, is that this is sort of, I guess, what we'd been predicting, what we sort of were afraid of, was that you're going to get community policing being done by militia groups. And as a result, you're going to see some serious animosity between them and the BLM faction. And then you're going to see something looking a lot more like Civil War. And this is looking a lot more like Civil War. But the actual situation itself is pretty cut and dry, and one of the terrifying factors is that he's being charged with first-degree murder. With the intent to kill. In other words, he intended to kill someone, and he did. He planned it out. And if you've watched any of the videos from this shooting, if you watch any of the videos on Kyle, you'll know that he specifically said he was there to defend private property and to provide medical aid. Did you see him providing medical support to everyone, protesters on the BLM side, anyone that needs it, really. So, first-degree murder, it's a weird charge because he's clearly not there to hurt people. But that seems to be what they're going with at the moment, and it'll probably, I doubt that'll stick. He has the lawyer that did the Nick Salmon stuff with CNN took up his case pro bono, so he's going to get some pretty good legal representation. There's also a GoFundMe for him if you're interested in supporting him. Definitely go do that. But one of the interesting things about this is, I guess, this is unlike the previous Civil War, this is going to be a very, very well-documented event. Well, I guess the Civil War was, but we're going to have a lot of cameras on this, put it that way. So we have about 6 or 7 videos of just different angles of these shootings and things like that. But I guess the generic breakdown is that he was being chased into a parking lot. We don't know why. Someone fires into the air. You can hear them do that. Or maybe fires at him. It's hard to tell. He then turns around. He turns towards the sound of that gunshot. And someone comes up and tries to assault him. I think tries to punch him. He shoots that person in the head, unfortunately. Shoots 4 times. One of the times in the head. That person didn't survive. And then he calls the police. Then he starts getting chased again. So he's running towards the police line. I assume to turn himself in. And on his way to the police line, he is tripped, flying kicked, hit with a skateboard, and at that point he shoots the person hitting him with a skateboard, kills him too. And then a third person comes up and tries to level a gun at him. Has a Glock 26 in his hand and attempts to shoot the kid. He blows that guy's arm out. And then he manages to make it to the police, and that would be the end of the incident. Now, if anywhere in there you heard violent white supremacist Nazi scum coming to kill black people, you're a goddamn lunatic. So, of course, the media, being goddamn lunatics, reported it pretty much exactly that way.
Yep.
Wyatt, thoughts?
Well, excuse me. It's really obvious that he was acting in self-defense. Like, by all accounts, from everything that we've seen, it's painfully obvious that he was acting in self-defense when this happened. So, yeah, it's crazy that he's been charged with first degree intentional homicide. It blows my mind because
I don't know how they expect to prove that.
Me too. I don't know. I don't understand why they're pushing for that, because they're gonna lose that like really really easily. Because yeah, it's pretty insane. And then with the media calling and so many people like on Twitter and stuff calling him a white supremacist. It's like, where are you even getting this from? And I saw what some of them were saying. They're saying that it was because he was a Trump supporter, that he was behind the Back the Blue movement, and
I love this.
Really
he supports police and he likes the current president. Well, God, must be a fucking Nazi.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we're making a lot of assumptions here.
Yeah, they are. They really are, and it's crazy. And apparently he was in a program that I guess is to help train people to later in life to be able to become police. And so a whole bunch of people were like, oh, he was going to be a future cop killer or a future black people killer. And I'm just like, what the hell are y'all talking about?
Well, it should be noted, every person he shot was white.
Oh yeah, that should be noted too.
So he's
every single one of those.
So
people
if you think he's a white supremacist, then you have to at least admit to us right now he's the worst white supremacist you've ever seen. He's terrible at it. He's almost as bad as Donald Trump. Like Donald Trump is is piss poor at doing the white supremacist stuff.
Yeah, really bad.
He does a bad job of it, but like Kyle Rittenhouse is actually probably a little bit worse. Anyway, also everyone. This is the other thing is I think people have been talking about this with these riots and things like that. It's funny how basically in any of these riots really, any of these riots, you can throw a rock and there's like a 90% chance whoever you hit is a felon. Like, that's not normal. That is extremely weird. And so that's why it's weird that all 3 people he shot, all of them, had felonies.
Yeah.
One of them was a rapist, child rapist, as far as I can tell. Sex with a minor, I guess would be the way. Sexual abuse of a minor, I think is what it was. Yeah. No, sex crimes with a minor, but I assume that's rape. Anyway. It's insane.
Yeah.
So, that's crazy. And the other guy, the guy that leveled that gun at him, also a felon. Battery charges and whatnot. He wasn't supposed to have a gun. He's legally not allowed to have a gun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just don't see how Kyle's the aggressor of the situation. He's trying to run away.
Yeah,
like
he is.
You look at the very first video, you see him running away from people into a parking lot and people like punching him in the back of the head as he tries to run away. And then the second time he has shoots, when you see him again running away. So every time you see him where he is forced to defend his life, he is running proactively for it. So he makes a proactive attempt to remove himself from the situation every time. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing that also kind of shows...
Not a very good shooter. Not a very good mass murderer.
Yeah, definitely not. And the thing that really tells me is the fact that in the case where he was on the ground and the guy was coming towards him with the skateboard, and it was obvious that he was going to hit him with it, he waited until he started to swing to shoot him.
I'm pretty sure this was after the exact same guy had flying kicked him.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this guy has already been a dick to him. He's already attacked him, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, and he waited until after, he needed to
well, you see the second guy with the guy that came up with a gun, the guy next to him, right, is coming up right behind the guy with the gun. And as soon as he shoots the guy with the gun, the guy behind him puts his hands up and backs up, and he doesn't shoot him. Like, he points the rifle at him like he's about to, but he doesn't shoot him.
Yep.
That's a real hands up, don't shoot situation.
Yeah, an actual one.
Yeah.
Unlike the bullcrap that the media still touts. Oh yeah, and Joe Biden still touts.
And Kamala Harris.
Yep, and Kamala.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. The situation's really insane. It's really unfortunate that it happened the way it did. But I mean, like, I don't know what you expect the kid to do. Like, I don't know how I would have acted any different in that situation. In fact, I mean, to be totally fair, I probably would have shot more people.
Yeah.
Like, I probably wouldn't have been as calm as this kid was in determining who was and wasn't a threat.
Yeah. Because those lines get really blurred when you're in a situation like that.
Well, that guy walking right behind the guy with the gun, like, after I shot the guy with the gun, it'd have been right onto him, boom, boom. And if he didn't have his hands up in time, I'm sorry. But I'm fairly certain you're trying to kill me.
Yeah.
And even then, it'd still be legit. Like, I mean, basically, anyone he shot in that frame after he's been knocked to the ground and assaulted is legit.
Yep.
Because they are all attempting to kill him. They're all gathering around him. One of them guys says, "Get his ass." I mean, they want to hurt him.
Yep.
If not kill him. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know what you expect from the kid.
Yeah. To just sit there and, let himself die? Nope. But yeah, it's just pretty crazy, man. And then
It's something.
and then I also saw some people post a picture, I guess, after he had shot one of them, like going towards the police cars to, I guess, turn himself in or whatever. And they passed him, and people were like, "Why didn't they arrest him?"
And people were like, "Why didn't they shoot this kid? Why didn't they shoot this kid? They shoot an unarmed black man. Why didn't they shoot this kid?" This kid had his hands up and his gun on his side, posed zero threats, walked up very calmly and explained exactly what had happened and asked for help.
No, and I'm talking about before that.
Well, I don't care about that. I mean, like, they're saying, like, when he walked up to the police line with a gun in his hand, they saw him. Why didn't they shoot him right then? It's like, well, because he wasn't threatening the cops.
Yeah.
Like, he has his hands up and says, "Hey, listen, I just shot someone." Self-defense, yada, yada, yada. I mean, it's like...
Yeah.
They're trying to compare it to the Jacob Blake situation. It's like, you can't do that because he literally isn't a threat to the cops. He's not a rapist. He's not a serial offender. He's not a fucking felon. He doesn't assault police officers. He doesn't claim to have a knife that he's going to use to stab you. He's not Jacob Blake. He's actually a good human being. So you don't get to make these fucking comparisons.
No. And then they also were saying...
Nothing to do with skin color, motherfuckers. It's got nothing to do with it at all.
Yeah,
if you think it does, you're a racist.
Yeah.
You're a racist.
Absolutely. And there was one video where like he was like trying to run up to near a cop car, and the cop car passed him, and they were like, they just walked, they just drove right past him. Why didn't they do anything? And it's like, because they didn't know what was going on. Like, they had no idea what was happening, and they were just showing up. That doesn't make any sense. Why are you asking that? That's a stupid ass question.
Well, they're just desperate to see white kids get gunned down by the police. They don't think it'll make them happier. They just want... I don't think they actually want... as far as I can tell, they don't actually want any sort of reconciliation with the police. They don't want the situation to get better. If they did, they would tell people in their communities not to resist arrest. It seems more to me like they just like to see other people get killed.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
It's actually not a very positive movement.
It's not.
You may have noticed, all the rioting and stuff. Not exactly what people trying to make a difference do. More like people trying to burn it all down. So.
Yeah.
But regardless, I mean, it's funny how it's being covered, and if you honestly can't look at those two situations and understand why he wasn't being shot at, then you're an idiot. You are a functionally retarded human being, and you're probably evil. So good job on being stupid and evil.
Yeah.
I don't know how you managed it, but nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you think those two situations are the exact same, I don't know what to tell you, man. They're not.
Yeah.
There's a difference between walking away from the police with their guns leveled at you after you've shrugged them off and not responded to their tasers, claiming you have a knife and reaching into your car, and calmly walking up with your hands up, trying to turn yourself in. Those are different situations.
Yep.
The other thing is like, well, he had a gun on him. Why didn't they shoot him? Okay, listen, if they shot every human being in the United States with a gun on them, you know how many hundreds of millions of people would have to be executed?
Yeah.
And goddamn, what a great way to get killed. Shoot a guy with a gun on him, see what happens. Watch what his immediate friends do.
Yeah.
Shoot a guy with a gun for no reason. Like, come on, guys. If you want to play this stupid game, you can play this stupid game, but you're going to lose.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah, exactly. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Yep. It's stupid. And, anyways, but, yeah. It's pretty
honestly,
crazy.
With this situation, the Jacob Blake situation, it really wasn't... I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here. It really wasn't the worst thing that happened, in my opinion. Like, I mean, yes, they can misconstrue it, but it wasn't anywhere near as bad as some of the stuff in Minneapolis where you had a guy who was a murder suspect. He had just shot another black man. And then he's running away from the cops. And he kills himself. You can see in the video, he points the gun. I don't know if he puts the gun in his mouth or it's under his chin, but regardless, shit blows his head off. Yeah. And the police are trying to give aid to him, and then you saw these like cell phone videos. You shot him, oh my god, police shot him. No, they didn't. No, they fucking didn't. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. Idiots. And then, of course, what do you get in Minneapolis? More rioting and looting. Over a guy that shot himself after killing another black man. It's like, man, you people are stupid. In fact, and this is my general take on this, is like I was initially of the opinion that Trump needs to send the military in and stop this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Frankly, good. Let it burn. Let it burn, man. You deserve it. These cities deserve everything they're getting. They voted for these people. They voted for this situation. They voted for these problems. They voluntarily stripped themselves of their gun rights. Good. Good. Your life's being destroyed. Good. You deserved it. You earned it. Yeah. You begged for it. You got on your knees and just begged. And you received. Ask and you shall receive. Ask for shit governance. Trust me, you'll get it.
Be careful what you wish for.
Exactly. Be careful precisely. We want less police in our communities. Okay, here's some rioters and looters. Oh, we don't like those. Well, sorry.
Yeah, that's what you get when you
exactly
don't have police in your neighborhoods.
You think you're immune from the rules of reality because you're black? You voted for less law enforcement and you got more crime. The fuck did you expect?
Yeah.
Like, what exactly were you asking for? What did you think you were asking for? So, I don't care anymore. I don't care. Kenosha, Minneapolis, all these are good. I don't like that people are dying, but I also don't really care anymore. Because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
really
bad.
I choose to live in Texas where I don't have to deal with this crap. So
yeah, for real.
Where people understand that if you fuck with someone and they're not having it, you lose your life.
Yeah.
Pretty simple equation.
Very simple.
And so now we're just... sorry you live in a crappy state with a crappy mayor, with a crappy governor, in a crappy city, and I'm sorry that you've made bad choices, but here you are. Getting eaten alive by a mob of felons asking for no police. Are we surprised, though, that felons are asking for no police?
No.
Exactly.
Definitely not.
This is just a literal uprising of criminals against everyone else, and we're supposed to sit here and go like, oh, this is just peaceful protest. Shove it.
Yeah.
So I think that covers the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff. I mean,
yeah.
There's a couple of things in the situation where I am a little curious. Like, why was he carrying a gun? He's 17, so where did he get it? Yep. Is there some rule that allowed him to? I know, like, state of emergency rules in Texas, they suspend some of the gun laws regarding carrying firearms and whatnot. I don't know, was Wisconsin or Illinois state law different somehow? Is there something that gave him a reason to do that? The justification? Because generally speaking, you know, as much as I support this guy, he's a goddamn hero as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. But don't do what he did. Like, if you're 17, do not pick up a gun and go to a riot. Okay, that's a bad way to. It's a bad thing to do.
It is.
But
that's
he
not
was
a good idea.
on video in front of like storefronts, going, "Well, the business owners asked us to protect it. We're here to protect private property. You know, you guys can do whatever you want. Just don't burn down private property." And I'm the trained EMS here to give medical attention to people. So it's like he's pretty clear with why he was there. I don't think any of it was bad. It all made sense to me. He's part of a group that's specifically, you know, part of this militia group that's been asked to do this. Okay, fine. Because there's another video from the night. It had nothing to do with Kyle. It was like 4 of the militia guys. And they come up and ask him, it's like, hey, what are you doing? And they're like, well, we're guarding this private property because we were told to. We were asked to by the business owner. Yeah. And the rioters are like, well, why are you doing that? It's like, because you have no right to burn down private property. It's like, yeah, but like, yada, yada, yada. It's like, well, these guys didn't hurt you. You know, these business owners didn't do anything to you. Literally nothing. Yeah. And these guys were more of a libertarian, maybe anarchist group. They're saying, like, if you want to burn down government property, fine. We hate the police too. But you need to leave the private business alone. So that's kind of where I'm at this sort of stuff. Like, if you want to riot and you want to do stuff like that, it's obviously wrong, and it's wrong in any context. Yeah. But I respect the people in Portland who are specifically targeting federal property a lot more than you people who are burning down black-owned businesses. Like, period, the end. Yeah. Like, the anarchists in Portland are exactly that. They're an anarchist group with a targeted goal. Yeah. You are rioters and looters. You are child rapists and felons. Like, you're not a political movement. You're opportunistic assholes. And, you know, not that I actually respect anything going on in Portland, but I mean, like, I can. It's a lot more honorable that you're attacking legitimate. You're an anarchist group attacking government property. Way more sense. Makes way more sense. Way more reasonable than these people claiming to be in favor of black lives while burning down black-owned businesses. Yeah. Sorry, it just makes more sense. Yeah. So, and that's where I kind of agree with that group there. Is like, listen, if you want to go burn down the police precinct, I mean, that's a bad idea, but we're not going to stop you. That's the police's job. Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, comment below. What are your feelings on the Kyle Rittenhouse situation? I'd like to hear it because generally speaking, I'm of the Steven Crowder mind. He's a hero. Period. The end. Was everything he did correct? I don't think so. I don't think he should have been there with a gun at least. And if he was going to be there at all, he should have just stayed with the other militia people. Just stayed with them.
Yeah.
He should, even if to provide medical support, he should just stayed. He should have been like, nope, that's too dangerous. I'm just staying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stayed inside of them. Stayed within there, where they could have helped them.
Yep.
But so yeah, I'm sure he's made some questionable decisions, but he didn't deserve to be attacked like that at all.
Yeah, no,
and him defending his life is perfectly fine. Plus, let's be honest, he made 2 good comments that night.
Yeah.
So, but regardless, plus another thing, honestly, I'd feel a lot worse if these people were innocent if they were just caught up in the mob mentality and no priors, nothing, no rap sheet, and they decided, hey, well, let's go burn stuff because we're idiots, just dumb kids. But these weren't dumb kids; these were adults, all of them, and some of them had child rape convictions, basically.
Yeah.
They're all felons. They're all violent felons, as far as I can tell. One of them has a gun he shouldn't have. Like, not a single human being he hurt was a good person. Not one.
Yeah.
And again, no one deserves to die. Kind of like George Floyd thing. He didn't deserve to die like that. But you made some bad choices, man. And it got you shot. Sorry you tried to level a gun in a kid's head and execute him in the middle of the street and you got your arm blown out. But that's kind of your fault, isn't it?
Yep.
So, for me, I don't really have a lot of problems with what Kyle did. My main issue would be, like, I'm in my 20s and I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go...
no.
I would join a militia group in my local area. I wouldn't travel across state lines to do it.
No, absolutely not.
And I wouldn't... and I'd bring my gun because I'm old enough to carry mine. But I sure as hell wouldn't leave the other people with guns. I'm not going to, as a single person with one gun, go charge into a riot. Like, this is the thing with... and this is the thing where you can... With Kyle, it makes more sense how this went down because he only got 3 people, only hit 3 people with his gun. That's about the best you could expect. Firearms are precision instruments. The bullet goes exactly where you want it to go and nowhere else. It goes one place. So, if you're talking about dealing with a crowd of people, you're going to lose that fight. Now, you may take out 5 or 6 before you do, but I guarantee you the other 30 will jump your ass. So, as one person with one AR, no, I would not go into a crowd like that. That's a terrible idea.
No, yeah, for sure.
And he's lucky that he wasn't actually in the middle of the crowd, that he was out on the edges, that he was running away, that he only had to deal with 3 or 4 of them at a time.
Yeah.
That was more manageable. Would have all 30 of them, like if all 30, 40, or 50 of them had surrounded him and tried to kill him, he probably would have died. I don't see how he would have gotten out of that. So, again, he's a hero in my book. Personal hero.
Yep.
Do not emulate him.
No, that's not a good idea.
Wouldn't recommend it. Now, what I will say is, when the Constitution was written, Second Amendment, the understanding was there wasn't going to be a standing army. We would have an army during war times when there was a reason to, and we would, just raise it from the general populace, draft them, whatever. But there wasn't going to be a standing army.
Right, yeah.
So you would have militia groups. They could be state-run militia, they could be just local-run militia, but they'd be citizen armies, and they would be tasked with just local security, basically. We're getting back to that, and the reason we're getting back to that is because we made a standing army, and we said, listen, the government has a responsibility to protect us, and it requires a standing army to do that, yada, yada, yada. Okay, fine, makes sense. Mm-hmm. We have a standing army. We have a standing police force. We have a National Guard. We have all these things. None of them are stepping in to help these people. Defend their lives, defend their property, defend their freedom. Not a single one of these groups that is supposed to be doing it is doing it. So you know what? We're going to go back to the 1789 model. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to make militias again. And if you don't like that government, then you need to get involved, God damn it.
Yeah.
Like, how hard is it to understand? You have exactly one thing you're supposed to do, and that's protect my life, liberty, and property. That's your goal, man. So if you don't like this Kyle kid did this, and if you think it's wrong that he did this, and I don't think he should have been there.
No.
But the reason he shouldn't have been there is because the government should have been doing what he's doing. The government should have been breaking this. The government should have been breaking private property, and they weren't. So what do you expect?
Exactly.
You're asking for this when you don't. So this is the thing when people are going, no, it would be fascist for Trump to send to the army. Okay, I disagree. I disagree entirely because it's not fascism to uphold your constitutional responsibility to protect the people's lives, liberty, and property. That's actually your one and only goddamn job. Your one and only job. First of all, you're sworn in to protect the Constitution, so obviously that matters. But as a government, your role, as defined by the Declaration of Independence and other founding documents, the government's role is very clearly to protect life, liberty, and property. So, if you're not doing that, you're not a legitimate government.
No.
Do not be surprised when non-government agents decide to go out and do their own sort of vigilante justice.
Yeah.
I don't complain about it either, because and that's kind of one of the things. I wish Trump had made a statement in favor of Kyle, but at the very least he didn't condemn him, and that was good, because he understands that he's allowing this to happen. And this is where I think Crowder made a good point in his stream the other day. If he doesn't step up, I'm going to have a hard time voting for him in November, because I believe the government has exactly one role to play. It's not doing it.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a legitimate government anymore. It's an illegitimate government just suckling at our rights,
Right.
Just siphoning off our tax dollars to feed its extravagant bullshit.
Yeah.
Insane, flamboyant waste of money. It's kind of how I feel about the government right now. Now, if the government stepped in, and here's the deal: the state government won't do it, and the local government won't do it. So we've asked local police; they're not going to do it. We've asked National Guard; they're not being asked to do it. So we've gone up from local to state. What's the next level, guys? Federal.
Federal.
And when that fails, who do you go to?
Us.
Exactly. When that fails, we're the last line of defense, the actual people themselves.
Yep.
So you've forced these people in a situation where they're feeling that they need to ask militia groups to protect their businesses. You, government, you did that.
Yeah.
So I would say with the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff, the main takeaway is he's not a murderer.
No, he's not.
And
it was self-defense. I'm
sorry, but you earned this, America. You begged for it. You got on your knees and said, "Oh, Daddy, please, give me the violence and the riots." Oh yeah, and they shot it all over your face.
Yep.
Filthy sluts.
Oh yeah. Also, one last thing on that. Wasn't there a video of the guy who got shot in the arm? Didn't he say call the police?
Yeah, I think so. Well, there was even a funnier video of the guy that got shot and domed. Listen. Because that was the guy with the child rapist. Like, I know I'm supposed to be respectful of the guy, but the guy got domed like a bitch. Like, get no scope, motherfucker. Oof. Big oof. But the guy that got domed by the absolute Chad Kyle was going around screaming, "Shoot me, nigga! Shoot me, nigga!"
Whoa. Hey, Andrew.
I can say what I want. It's a podcast. And also, the guy was white. Just so you know that. The guy was white going around screaming, "Shoot me, nigga! Shoot me, nigga!" But he was white. And, you asked. But that was earlier in the night. I think it was like 15, 20 minutes later when he actually attacked Kyle and then got shot for his troubles.
Mm-hmm.
But we're now wondering, because that initial gunshot, we're wondering what that was. It probably was that guy with the Glock 26. So actually, if I think about it, makes the most sense to me. Maybe not. But yeah, I don't know if we can find that video. We'll link it though. He's so white.
Yeah, he is.
He's going like, "Show me, nigga, show me, nigga." It's like, dude, you're so white. Shut up.
Yeah.
And you're screaming at another white dude. Like, calm down.
Yeah. And also, Andrew, you need to stop saying it too. Stop that.
No. Hey, I need you to talk for a second, Wyatt. I gotta grab something. Okay.
Okay. So, to preface the next topic, which that we're going to be talking about, which is the RNC. I have watched all of it except for Trump's speech. I didn't have time to finish it before we started having to prep. So I'm sorry that we won't be able to make comment on that this week. We'll probably just finish it after we finish recording this. We'll probably listen to it and then put our thoughts in the comments, or we can just maybe record a little extra segment tomorrow or something. With us talking about our thoughts on the speech. But we are going to talk about the coverage of the speech, because that's kind of annoying, as always. Let's see. Well, I guess since excuse me, since Andrew's getting his alcohol, I can share with y'all my top 5 speeches from the RNC. I watched, like I said, all of it except for Trump's speech. Andrew has only seen bits and pieces of most of it. I believe he said that he watched the first night, and then bits and pieces of the second and third night, and then almost nothing of the fourth night.
I have one deck I haven't played in a real long time. I'll definitely.
Excuse me. And as somebody who's watched everything except for the Trump speech, I figured I would just give like a top five, my top five speeches from the RNC, excluding Trump's speech. So the first one is Abby Johnson. Her speech was freaking phenomenal. So if you don't know who Abby Johnson is, she used to work at Planned Parenthood, and she was like kind of like high up and as like a manager, I believe. And she talked about why she quit her job there and then became a pro-life advocate. And it was because she had to watch an ultrasound-assisted abortion. And yeah, the stuff that went on in there, she goes in depth about, which I don't really want to go in depth about because obviously I want you to watch the speech. So we linked her speech. The second one was Sister Deirdre Byrne, I believe is how you say her name. Her speech was freaking phenomenal. So she's a nun, I think is technically the term that we should use, and she was phenomenal. She was freaking crazy. And the cool thing about her is she's a veteran. She served in, I believe she said, the Army as a surgeon, which I'm just like, oh, that's awesome, you know. And so that's been pretty cool. And then after she got out, you know, she joined, she became a nun, and I'm just like, oh, this is awesome. And it was cool. She talked about about how pro-life Trump was, and I believe she also talked about how it was awesome that Trump was getting not actually killing them, but sending our guys in to kill all these terrorists and stuff, which is great. So yeah, no, she was freaking phenomenal. She was really fiery and really awesome. The next one after that, and these five are in no particular order. I don't really know if I really want to rank them. But the third one is Tim Scott's speech. He had a freaking phenomenal speech.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Oh, welcome back, Andrew.
Hey, that was supposed to be subtle. What the hell?
What?
You had to tell. I was supposed to be subtle about that. You didn't have to give me a whole welcome back thing. And I'm sorry about that, guys. I took a phone call I had to take.
I thought you were getting your alcohol.
No, I'll get my alcohol in a little bit, but now I can't drink it, seeing as I have things to do after this now.
Yeah.
You bastards, you've ruined it. I had a friend. Actually, this is actually really interesting. I think this is actually a good time to talk about this. Totally unrelated, but we're going to talk about coronavirus later. The college got was from a university friend of mine who goes to UT Arlington. He's just moved back into his dorms. So we're seeing some universities open up again. That's interesting because he's been out since spring break. So comment down below if you have anyone in college. Are they starting to go back now? I know UT Arlington apparently is. So I'd like to hear what's going on.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Nice. I already talked about Abby Johnson's speech, and then Sister Burns' speech as well. So,
well, on the topic of speeches, I want to put this out there. We had a lot of coverage of this by mainstream media, and one of the distinctions that Republicans tried to draw, and I think they did very well, was the difference between the Democrats' view of America, which is extremely dark and extremely unhappy, and the Republicans' view of America, which is that it's a great place that could use some work. And I think the speeches did an extremely good job of promoting Trump's good policies and good sides.
Yeah, they did.
And also saying, hey, listen, this is an amazing country to live in, and we're happy to continue to serve it and to continue to improve it. I think the distinction here in the speeches being given between the DNC and the RNC, that the DNC consistently wanted to harp about what's wrong with America. And what I don't understand about that was the fact that you're running for that country. You're telling this country how evil it is and disgusting it is, but you're trying to get their vote. Also, you're there to promote your candidate, and the only thing you can say is how awful America is.
Yeah.
That's fine and all, but I think the Republicans did a better job of saying this is how great Trump is, and this is all the stuff he does that's awesome, yada, 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 and America's amazing, and he will continue to be good for America.
Right. Yeah.
So they
It's
did a
something
better
that-
job of promoting Trump in the sense that he is going to be the positive aspect of America. He's going to promote the positive
Yeah.
aspects of America. He's going to improve upon them. He's going to work on some of the negative, like some of the criminal justice stuff. Where I've kind of come around. I don't know if you have, Wyatt, but I'm actually more on board with criminal justice reform stuff before than earlier, because we had Ted Cruz talk about it. He said, "Listen, when we signed this bill, the First Step Act and stuff like that, I made it very clear: non-violent drug offenders should not be in jail." But he said violent people need to stay there. So I'm glad that people in this process, not necessarily the administration, that was Ted Cruz, but I'm sure the administration mirrors his view, are understanding that the criminal justice reform the American people want is not necessarily what the Democrats want. We're looking more at a non-violent offenders don't need to be in jail for drug charges sort of criminal reform. And I'm glad to see Trump jump on that bandwagon. I think that's a good cause. So.
Oh yeah, it definitely.
It was good to hear about that. Ted Cruz talked about it in his Crowder appearance, and I heard it mentioned a couple other times, the First Step Act and a couple of opportunity zones being talked about for Black America. So,
yeah,
I think we're doing a really good job during this RNC of showing that Trump is committed to law and order, but he's not so amazingly unfair that he'll disregard the fact that there are some laws that need to be changed. You know,
right? Yeah,
he's willing to to open up. He's open to the possibility that some improvement needs to be made in the law enforcement,
of course,
and in sentencing and whatnot. And that's, I think, a much more balanced position than what we're seeing from the Democrats, where they're just they tear it all down sort of view of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right. So talk about one of the speeches that you liked, because I'm trying.
My favorite speech was from. Crap, what's his name? I'm sorry, I didn't get a lot of information on him, but he was a Madison Cawthorn?
Cawthorn? Yeah, yeah.
He was a candidate for a Republican nomination, and I can't remember where, running for Congress. And he was injured. I don't know what the details of the accident were. I don't remember his speech super clearly. What I remember super clearly was he's in a wheelchair, talked about his accident, talked about his support for Trump, talked about the fact that he's going to be the youngest congressman ever elected if he gets there. And then he said, and I mean, this is the thing that I love about this is how the RNC was a complete rebuttal of the DNC. He says, I stand for this country. And he had people come over and help him up. And he grabbed onto a walker and actually held himself up and gave the rest of his speech. And this is a wheelchair-bound dude. Like, and I thought that was amazing. I thought that was like it's like, the Republicans are so patriotic, we will literally make people who can't walk stand for this country. Not make them. We can inspire people who literally can't walk to stand for this country. Like, that's a stark contrast between the kneel for the flag and kneel for the anthem, and the I'm so proud to be an American that even though I physically can't do it, I'm going to stand anyway.
Yeah, 100%, man. It was really awesome. In
my opinion, the best moment of the RNC. I loved it. I really, really liked that part.
Yeah, that's
pretty that's largely opinion. I'm sure some people liked other parts of it, but for me, that was like, because my general opinion was I didn't like how produced it was. I didn't think it really fit the party at this time, the sort of meme culture, like internet savvy sort of party at the time, of the Donald Trump. But that part was amazing. That part was phenomenal. Couldn't have been done better.
Right.
And at first they bring a walker over, and you're like, what the hell are they doing? The guy's in a wheelchair, and there's two people standing next to him, and he's giving a speech, he's just talking through him, and then he goes, and I stand for this country, and they pick him up, and he literally grabs onto it, and he holds himself up for the rest of the speech, and you're like, oh!
Yeah.
No!
It was freaking badass.
Fucking loved it, man. It was amazing. So, like, if you haven't seen that, watch that.
Yeah, which we, all the speeches...
Like, if you want to feel proud to be an American, watch that shit. That'll make you feel good.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It'll make you feel real good.
Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, man, that was really awesome.
That was really the most beautiful moment of the whole thing. I just couldn't have been happier with that. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, no, it was great. So my third, or the third one that's I guess is in my top 5 is Tim Scott's speech. That one was freaking phenomenal. If y'all don't know who Tim Scott is, he's a black congressman who has been in both the House of Representatives and the Senate, and he...
I don't agree with him on everything, but he is, thus far, one of the best voices of the RNC. I'll have to give him that.
He's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
He's great.
I didn't necessarily agree with his police reform bill. I understood the spirit of it, Politically, it's just hilarious because it made a lot of sense. I'm gonna present a bill giving Democrats 80% of what they want, and then watch them reject it so we can laugh at them. Like, good job, dude. Good job.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is we'll talk about Jacob Blake later, and this is one of those things where it's like, I don't actually think the police need a lot of reform. I think we need to enforce current standards.
Yeah.
We're looking at the George Floyd stuff, and it looks a lot more now like he just had bad training and an overdose. That's what it looks like what happened.
Yeah.
A lot of unfortunate crap. But I really think we could do better with training. I think we could get more like on nationally, we can get more on the same page regarding what the police should be trained to do. And then other than that, I really don't have a lot of things. I would like to better fund some of their training too. Get them more martial arts training. Get them more shooting training. Get them more efficient with what they're being given. Get them better with tasers. Get them better tasers. What's the company? It used to be called Taser, but they've changed the name of the company. But anyway, I was watching an interesting informational on their history, the company Taser, and they make improvements to their products all the time. So I'd like to see them make some really interesting improvements soon. Maybe we can get better, more reliable taser technology, stuff that's easier to operate, that's more likely to succeed. More non-lethals. Plenty of options here, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think a couple things like chemical weapons. Ever heard of? I don't know if you've ever heard of the. Why have you heard of the Breonna? B-R.
No.
So B-Y-R-N-A. I think it is Breonna. Yeah. But it fires these little paintballs at ridiculous speeds. It's just a single CO2 canister for a 5-round magazine of paintballs, and you can get like solid projectiles, which are like little rubber-coated pieces of lead, which hit like a truck. Or you can get them with this chemical powder that causes you to vomit and retch, and it's like really, really bad pepper spray, basically. And it's extremely debilitating. I think non-lethal options are excellent for police, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that police are the problem. I don't think police are the problem at all in these situations. No. They very rarely act inappropriately.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's like you said, it's the training that they're given is the biggest problem.
Yeah, on the national level, let's get on the same page with training. Let's look at the best police. Let's do a survey of the country's police. Let's find the police with the least lethal encounters, where the highest percentage of non-lethal police force. Let's say listen, in this situation, basically in every situation we could find, this police agency was more likely to de-escalate or non-lethally in the situation. They were able to they were not able to get the suspect into the car, no problems, no one dead. So let's take a page out of we have multiple police agencies in the country that do different things. Yeah. And I'm sure we could take a page from one of their books where they're much better at de-escalating, or they're much better at dealing with the non-lethal use of force,
Yep.
So I think that we can
make that a
national standard,
Yeah, we should take that page out of their book and then make it a mandated thing.
I don't know if we should mandate it, but I think we should say, listen, this is the standard we want you to be held to, and here's funding to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to say necessarily we're going to penalize you if you don't, because some police agencies simply aren't funded well enough, and they're still doing a good job. You know what I mean?
Well, I would say for them to make it into a training, and then make it affordable for all of them.
Well, my
thing, and then just give it to them.
Yeah, I'd say provide federal funding for it, and then I think the police agencies of their own accord would do it. And now, what I would say is I would require that police I'd say required to engage to have roughly 40 to 50% more martial arts training, and about maybe double the training with their tasers. Get used to using tasers in bad situations. More training with tasers, more training with martial arts. Let's get both of those things really well locked down. Now, generally, I don't think cops have a problem with that, but I think we probably could reduce some of the situations where you need to go to your gun.
Yeah.
And then bring back PT, man. Bring back standards for physical fitness. Because if you don't meet those standards, or if you're not meeting what the standards were previously, standards have been lowered for you so they can have more people in the police force, then you're more likely to have to go for your gun.
Yeah.
So let's make sure these police officers don't have that as their only option. Like female police officers, where sometimes it's their only option. A healthy, reasonably fit man gets into a violent confrontation with you as a woman. If your taser doesn't work, what are your options, man?
Yeah.
What are your options? Even if this person doesn't have a weapon, really, what are your options?
Yeah.
And ideally, you just be you have reasonable martial arts training. You could deal with it. But that's an ideal situation. I think more likely they're going to have to go for their gun. So let's institute some standards here that make it less likely that police are going to have to go for their weapon.
Yeah, for sure.
And then also support the cops.
Yes.
Embolden them. Make them feel like they can take risk. That they can, not risk.
Do their job.
That they can do their job and take the risk that implies without having to feel like they're going to be stabbed in the back.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Make them more confident to be a police officer. Because they're so scared right now. That's why they're pulling their guns out and shooting people. It's like they're consistently being told their lives basically don't matter. And I think that they're just scared out of their minds. And
I'm sure they're
I don't necessarily think that that's a good situation for them to be in.
Yeah, definitely not. All right. But yeah, I think Tim Scott, his speech was really good. And I actually did learn something from his speech. So I actually didn't know this about
Whoa, wait.
What?
I know what you learned.
What?
You, like Joe Biden, learned that black people can be articulate and well-spoken.
No, not that. I already knew that.
Well, Joe Biden didn't, not until Obama came around.
Yeah, apparently not. No, but I already knew about that. But I didn't know that Trump had helped with funding historically black colleges and made it permanent funding. I didn't know about that.
They talked about that a while ago. I was aware of it, but we didn't talk about it. But that's kind of along the lines of the First Step Act and the opportunity zones. The dude is so amazingly pro-black community. It's phenomenal. I'm so happy to have our first black president finally.
Yeah.
Orange is the new black.
But yeah, no, it's but it was phenomenal. He had a really awesome speech. I'm really gonna keep my eye on Tim Scott as far as future endeavors go because he's phenomenal.
Yeah, I enjoy him. I mean, he had a good. Also, if you're interested in seeing more Tim Scott, he had a great interview with on Ted Cruz's podcast.
Yep, so, he had a really awesome interview there.
Yeah, it was good.
And then he also showed his voicemail where he got called a whole bunch of racial slurs
that we will not repeat.
Even though Andrew repeated some of them.
I quoted a dude, alright? I'm allowed to quote people, okay? I personally don't use that word. I understand how offensive it is, but I am allowed to make fun of white people who act like dipshits. I reserve the right on this podcast to make fun of white people. Do you agree with me, Wyatt?
Okay, fine. We can make fun of white people.
Damn right, Twinkie.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Alright, so, but yeah, no.
I'm pretty sure that's actually an insult for Asian people. It's like the same thing as saying. It's like the same thing as saying Oreo. We all on the outside, white on the inside. Yeah.
I'm sure that so many black conservatives have had to be called that, or not had to be called that, but I'm sure so many black conservatives have been called that.
What do you call a school bus full of white kids?
Oh no,
a Twinkie.
No, don't do that. No. I don't know why I'm saying oh no. That's a good joke. An old one, but it's still good and it's true.
Classic.
Right. Yep, it's classic. You're right.
Classic.
All right, so the fourth speech out of my top 5 is Herschel Walker. That dude had a freaking phenomenal speech. Yeah, no, it was just awesome. He just straight up just said, "Oh yeah," he's like, "I take it as a personal offense that y'all are calling Trump a racist. Listen here, I have been his friend for 37 years. Yeah, pretty much. I've been his friend for 37 years, and he's like,
you think I'm your friend was a racist?
Yeah, pretty much.
He's like, you idiots.
Yeah, nah, but my favorite thing was from that is he was just like, I take it as a personal offense that you call him racist. I'm just like, ooh, yep, that's right. Give him the middle finger. Good job, Herschel Walker. But nah, and Herschel Walker, he's always been a phenomenal athlete and everything. So it really is awesome.
Yeah, he's a crazy he's insanely well accomplished. He's extremely well accomplished. Pretty amazing dude.
Yeah, including playing for the Dallas Cowboys.
Let's get on to the rest of your speeches. We have other topics to discuss.
Yeah. All right. Then Don Jr. He had a speech that was good.
Yep.
Yeah.
For all the typical reasons with Don Jr.
Yeah, for sure.
Bombastic as hell and totally accurate the whole way through.
Yeah, but one thing I did want to say about his speech is afterwards, a whole bunch of people on Twitter and stuff were talking about how he looked like he was on cocaine, and he actually retweeted one of them and said, "I think you have me confused with Hunter, because Hunter was actually discharged from the Navy for testing positive for cocaine." So I just wanted to throw that in there because I'm just like, oh yeah, you know. Excuse me. Yeah, that goes for itself. It speaks for itself.
Can you imagine having your dreams of having tons of anal sex on a boat being ruined by your coke addiction? Terrible. I feel so bad for the guy.
Dude, that's so accurate. That's extremely accurate. And so to this is anecdotal, but as a basis for that joke, like, it's, from what I'm told, I do have sources in the Navy, some really good friends of mine, and they say, yeah, it's 100% true. Because, like, what are you supposed to do when you're at sea for
gets lonely, man.
2 years? It gets lonely.
It gets lonely.
So yeah, no, it's true according to my Navy sources. Anyways, but yeah. All right, so that was like my top 5, and then we had some honorable mentions, of course. One of my honorable mentions was Ann Dorn's speech. She is the wife and widow of the retired officer David Dorn, who was killed by rioters.
The widow would have worked. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to say that. You tried
What's up?
I don't know if wife and widow. I think widow's the right word.
Okay, yeah, fine. Widow. Widow of David Dorn, who was killed by rioters when he was called to.
Shut up.
What?
You didn't do that right.
How?
Okay, David Dorn, first and foremost, was a police chief. He was a police officer.
Yeah, I already said that. I said he was a retired police officer.
No, you didn't. Retired police chief and officer.
Okay.
He served as a police chief in one location, officer is another, and a general good Samaritan. Like, I don't know if you know this, but in retirement, he specifically spent most of his time just helping people. But I want you to say it right, because he wasn't just an officer. He was a police chief. Like, he was a very, very accomplished officer, an extremely important member of his community as a member of law enforcement. And his wife was also a police officer.
Yeah. No, she still is, I believe.
I don't know if she's actually active. Is she actually still employed there?
I thought she was still is.
Okay, well, then she is. Anyway, I didn't know for sure. But, so yeah, that's one thing I want to mention. We were talking about police earlier. You know, this is a police family. And it's really sad to see this happen to him. But, I mean, that's one thing. I just want to make sure we drove that point home.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing dude. Police
for sure.
chief, police officer, in a different town. I mean, pretty well accomplished law enforcement officer for sure. Like, knew what he was doing, and did quite a bit with his career. So
yeah, for sure. And but yeah, no, his wife gave a really, really awesome speech to honor him, and I really liked them having her because she hasn't been on a lot of the mainstream media at all, because none of them want her to come on. So and I guarantee you, if the DNC would have asked her to come speak, I'm sure she would have.
Yeah, I don't see why she wouldn't. I mean, she's trying to promote her.
What happened to her husband?
No. She has a thing she's trying to promote. She's trying to get people out to this March for Peace and whatnot. She's still active in community outreach. I'm sure she would have taken any platform she could have gotten to tell her husband's story and promote peace.
Yeah.
And I think it was obviously for that reason she couldn't be allowed. Promoting peace is not something we do in mainstream media.
Nope. But yeah, no. So I'm really happy that they had her speak, because there are a lot of people who actually don't know about David Dorn. So I think that it was a really good move for them to ask her to speak.
Oh yeah, it was good, and I'm glad she got the opportunity, because no one else was going to give it to her. Which is really sad. It's kind of a damning indictment on the media is that no one else wanted to give this woman an opportunity to speak.
Yeah, for sure. And at least in the mainstream media, the only ones who were really talking about it were people like Crowder, and like, did Ben even talk about it? I think he did.
David Dorn? I mean, no, it was covered by all the right-wing media.
Yeah.
But I mean,
by like the internet right-wing media, most of them.
Well, Fox News too. I mean, it was covered by all the right-wing media, because they were like, "What the hell? These are the people in the community that we like, and you're killing them.
Yeah.
Stop it."
Yeah.
And he's also black, so he's a refutal of your narrative. So, I mean, of course, it was a narrative point for us as well. But I mean, the fact was, talking about how we're losing good members of our community, and it's your fault.
Yeah.
So a lot of people covered it on the right, but I mean, Steven Crowder actually got an interview with her, and then RNC stuff. I don't know if she's been given an interview anywhere else. And
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear that she got one or not an interview, but she got to speak on
Yeah, it's a big platform, man.
on a platform that where so many people are going to hear her speech, which is more so than like it was awesome that Crowder had her on. Like that's really awesome.
Well, Crowder's got like 5 million
comparison,
followers, and he gets a lot of airtime. He gets a lot of coverage.
yeah,
But I mean, the RNC is like millions and millions and
Yeah,
millions of people are going to watch that.
yeah, so many more people. So yeah, it's really awesome, and then people on both sides. There's a better chance they're gonna hear that than they will Crowder, because a lot of the people on the other side.
Probably this is where I should have criticized them more. This is my RNC criticism for the week, or for the whole event. Their week of the RNC. I would have loved. This is back to my more internet savvy point. They should have had one night be either the Greg Gutfield show with a bunch of good speakers, or Lotto Crowder. They should have had one night should have been late night comedy with like the big conservative names, because Greg Gutfield's on Fox News does his late night show and Stephen Crowder does his. But I mean, if you want to be more internet savvy, which is kind of what I want, because the party of Trump right now is very internet savvy. So I would have liked to get more Crowder airtime. I would like Crowder to either be a speaker at the RNC or get like an hour at it. That'd have been great. They would never do that because he's so critical of some of the stuff they do, but.
No, I don't think they would. If they were gonna do anything, they would probably have somebody like Ben or Michael, if anything.
Well, yeah, but that's just for like for speaking. I mean, I would have loved if one of the events been like a late night show event. If they did like an hour of late night and had just aired Crowder's show for like millions of people.
That would
that'd have been great.
That would have been awesome. But that's sort of just on those one of those things that's on a wish list of things that will probably never happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is what it is. All right. So I was really happy that Andoran got to speak. Nick Sandman, this dude, hell freaking yeah. He had an awesome speech as well. And I think Andrew can speak on this a little bit as well. But it was really cool. So on the CNN. So in case y'all didn't know, Nick Sandman was a kid. He was the kid who was the focus of the media attack on the Covington Catholic high school kids. Like whenever that Native American man was banging his drum in that kid's face, and all he did was just stand there and have a smile on his face and wear a Trump 2020 hat. Or not Trump 2020 hat, but a MAGA hat, and he just sat there and let him bang a drum in his face and not do anything. The entire media, went after him and all that stuff. And he recently won a lawsuit against them and won like $80 million. So yeah, no, this man, that's a W for him. And then they had him speak at the RNC. And it's really funny because CNN they would have in between people's speeches they would give their quick commentary, and from my understanding, they didn't really say much about him after his speech.
I have acquired beer.
Hey, yeah, he's acquired beer. I'm talking about Nick Sandman.
Okay.
His speech. So I just think it's really funny that the people on CNN who were given the coverage, it didn't really say much about his speech. It's kind of
they literally just sat there in silence and let him talk, and you could tell they were pissed about it because he's sitting there like, and on CNN I was this and that, and CNN's awful, and CNN sucks the worst, CNN sucks big giant donkey dick. Oh my god, CNN's evil. CNN, and it's while he's on CNN.
Yeah, no, it's great.
It's so beautiful.
Yep, and it's great to see all of them like shut up and just be like. Because they know that if they say anything, he'll come right back for him and freaking destroy them.
They know for a fact that this kid will rape them with lawsuits.
Yeah. Rightfully so.
Do you like that last one? I got 3 or 4 more lined up.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but no, it was awesome. It was great.
Oh, speaking of that, I think we said it earlier, but the lawyer that did that to CNN, the lawyer that took up his case, is helping Kyle Rittenhouse out. He's going to be the lawyer for Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome.
So that's nice.
All right. The next speech was one that you put in there, the Sean Parnell.
Yeah, so this goes back to earlier when I was saying one of the things I like about the RNC was a couple of things, was giving credit to some not really new recruits, but people that are freshly minted Republicans. So we have some Sean Parnell, Billy Timpa, things like that, people that are running for Congress. We're talking more about them later, but I want to highlight during this show that right now there's some Republicans who are standing a fairly good chance and running in heavily Democrat areas, like Paterson, New Jersey, Baltimore. So I think that this is the moment. If we're going to get like a red wave, I'd love to see some of these places flip red. And so I'm going to definitely, I've linked their websites if you want to donate to them, if you want to help them out. But Sean Parnell, was nice to have him talk. I actually didn't get a chance to hear his speech because I was watching Tim Pool's podcast with him. So I listened to him for about 2 hours actually on Tim Pool, which if you haven't, is a really good podcast. He's an excellent guy in foreign policy. He really understands at least the Middle East. It was nice to hear him talk about that.
Yeah.
A couple of other things. Really like Sean Parnell. Just like him. I like Billy Timpa as well. He also did a Tim Pool interview for about 2 hours. Mm-hmm. So if you get an opportunity, I'd definitely go check out those videos. Probably won't link them though, but I mean you can find them pretty easily.
Yeah. Oh, and I actually forgot. We did link an article for this, but there was a guy from CNN, Joe Lockhart, who did criticize Sandman.
Yeah, he called him a snot-nosed brat, which I was like, yeah, this is the reason you're in this trouble, man. You may want to shut up.
Yeah. And then he said that he was entitled, and I'm just like...
Yeah, entitled to your money, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
Yeah, but like, I'm just like, really? Entitled? You mean the entitlement that y'all try to take from him by demonizing him to the point where, his life could have been ruined? Like, really?
They're like entitled to legal fees and $80 million, bitch.
Yeah, that's true.
Bitch, entitled, snot-nosed brat. It's like, yeah, he is entitled to all your moolah. Stupid cunts.
Yeah.
I couldn't have been happier about that, because that was exactly what people tweeted him. He's like, yeah, he is entitled to your money.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's amazing. And it's true. It's actually true. He won the lawsuit.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't win. He settled, which is effectively the same thing as winning.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he got a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money, which was rightfully deserved. Because man,
all right,
they really. What's up?
I think I'm ready to move on from the RNC. We have a ton of links, things that we thought were important. They're all in there.
Yeah.
One of the things we need real quick. Democrats quitting the party was amazing. We did a 1 minute video I linked from YouTube of the Democrats calling in saying they were quitting the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
So please go watch that if you have an opportunity. But we have links. We have tons of links for the RNC. We'll put them in the comments.
One last thing one last thing from the RNC. They also had the McCloskeys on. Since we've been following this, I figured that we would at least mention it. They were on. They spoke with the RNC. I think it was the
same night as Sandman, I thought.
Hold on.
It doesn't matter. They're linked. I think when I move on to the Jacob Blake stuff, that's been one of the big news, big story from the week.
But just a quick mention of them. They did really well, and they were very effective. So yeah, just a quick mention of that. All right, but yeah, we can move to Jacob Blake. Also, what's our time at right now?
It's a great question, Wyatt. Stop asking me that during the fucking podcast. All right, moving on. We're going to look at the Jacob Blake, Breonna Taylor, and the Minneapolis suicide, which we discussed earlier, but it's insane.
Yeah.
The Jacob Blake stuff, I don't really think I need to go into a ton of detail on. Let's just explain the case as it is. So, what was being initially reported was that a man was walking back to his car and she was shot in the back 7 times for his trouble in front of his kids. Turns out he had actually just been taken to the ground by the cops. He had a warrant out for his arrest because someone he had sexually abused had called the cops on him for stealing her keys. And so they showed up to serve the warrant. He had out for his arrest. And it also responded to this domestic call, but he also had a warrant out. That's why they knew who he was and knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And the dude has a history of violence against cops, a history of sexual abuse of minors, and whatnot. And he's got his 3 kids in this car. He stole this woman's keys. And so they wrestle him to the ground because he's resisting arrest. And he shrugs them off. They tase him. He doesn't respond, which is one of the reasons people think he was on drugs. that he didn't respond to the taser, so there's a good chance he was on some sort of substance. And then he proceeds to during this interaction, at some point, he tells the cops he has a knife on him. He then walks to his car, opens the door. At this point, one of the cops has him by the back of the shirt, and he's saying, "Drop the knife, drop the knife, drop the knife." And Blake doesn't respond to that, so he shoots him 7 times in the back.
Yeah.
And the important thing to remember here is he's just wrestled them off of him. He's been tased, and he said he has a knife on him. And then he reaches down into a car, down to the floorboard of the car. They're saying that there was a knife found on the driver's side floorboard, so that's exactly where he was reaching.
Yep.
That's pretty damning.
Oh yeah.
And really, I can't find an angle in which this is a bad shoot. It just seems to me that this is a good shoot. This is good police work, where they did everything right, and this guy just simply wasn't complying. He's currently alive, by the way. He's paralyzed, and he's raised $2 million for his plight.
Yeah.
Poor baby decided to put 3 children's lives at risk. He should get $2 million. So stupid crap like that. Yeah. But that's the situation for Jacob Blake. But the thing is that they were saying, unarmed black man shot in the back 7 times. No.
Yeah.
No, you homicidal dumbasses. So, of course, you get Kenosha riots, and from the Kenosha riots, you get Kyle Rittenhouse. So remember, everyone, the 17-year-old wouldn't be where he is today had it not been for the lovely, lovely media.
Yep.
Lying about a good shoot.
Yeah.
So that is the situation. We provided links to all of that. Provided a link to Breonna Tatum's video on it, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the case. Now let's move on to Breonna Taylor real quick. Who this is from a while ago, but it's being revisited now as stuff emerges. Her boyfriend was a drug dealer. Cops knew that for a fact. Tracking his activity, they thought she was involved. Okay.
Yep.
They had some evidence apparently, as we're finding out in some of these reports coming out. We've linked the whole report, by the way. If you want to see the entire police report, you can go see it. They had reason to believe that she was involved in what he was doing, and so they had a no-knock warrant issued, and they showed up at her house. Apparently, they knocked anyway. Apparently, they announced themselves regardless. Of course, they can do that if they want.
But they didn't have to.
They didn't have to. They bust in. Some shots get sent their way, and they shoot back, killing Breonna Taylor. I don't believe it was her that was shooting at them, though.
I don't think so.
I think it was the boyfriend or something. But regardless, she dies in the crossfire. The question is she, was her life lost? Was it murder? And no, it seems like an accident. It seems like an unfortunate. She's literally right there. Police are being shot at. They return fire in that direction. She gets hit. It's unfortunate. It is not murder.
No, definitely not.
Maybe make a manslaughter case, but that would be extremely difficult.
It would. It would be really difficult, especially when
they
were shot at.
The cops are being shot at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the situation with Breonna Taylor. People are upset about that, but the cases. And they were saying initially that they shouldn't have had the warrant. That they didn't murder her intentionally. The more we find out about this, the more we know that none of that's true.
Yeah.
And that it seems the warrant was legit. It seems that they were fired at. It seems she was caught up. Again, you can read the police report. I haven't read the full thing. I knew a lot of the facts of the case before the police report even came out because they've been discussing it for a while. But now they have the police report out, and say what you want. Maybe it's a police report, therefore it can't be trusted because it's from the police. But really, I don't see any reason why the situation couldn't have gone down like this. I can't find any counter evidence to this. So it seems to be what happened. All right, now moving on to the suicide riots.
Oh wait, hold on. You forgot about Doc Rivers.
I'll get there.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to just explain the situations real quick.
Oh,
so,
gotcha.
Moving on to the suicide riots, this happened, I don't know all the details actually about this. It's not something I've done a ton of research into. I just watched the initial video and heard why the guy was being chased. Mm-hmm. He's being chased because he was suspected of shooting another black man at one of these protests. Okay? So he's a murderer, as far as we can tell. And then he winds up in front of, I guess, a storefront. It's kind of hard to tell. It looks like a storefront. Yeah, and you can see in the video, put the gun, I don't know if it's in his mouth or under his chin, but then he kills himself. It's pretty graphic. You're welcome to view the video if you want. We're not going to link it because it's extremely graphic. It's worse than a lot of the other videos.
The link to the article that we have, it does have the video.
Okay, fine. That's good. That's good. That's all good and well. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it is.
as soon as he hits the concrete, you can see like the blood pouring out of his head and everything. It's like disturbing. But if that's what you're into, more power to you. So it's obvious from the video that he kills himself. Well, then you see all these other selfie videos, people going, "Oh, you killed it," because the police show up and they try to provide medical attention. "Oh, you killed him, man! You killed him! Oh, you shot him!" And so you get a little riot starting over that.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is the dude killed himself. So what the hell? What are you rioting over? Nothing. That's the point. This is the perfect example of literally nothing.
Yeah.
So, the guy that killed black people decides to kill himself. Let's riot over that. So this is just further proof of the fact that if you weren't already aware of this or you were questioning it, the riots have nothing to do with racial justice. This is entirely opportunistic bullshit.
Yeah, 100%.
But we'll bring it back to Doc Rivers real quick. I mean, I thought it was interesting. He cries over the Jacob Blake stuff, talks about how this country doesn't love him, doesn't love black people. You're talking about the RNC, you're talking about fear. Thought it was amazing talking about fear. Well, we should be afraid of what? I mean, other black people, obviously, but I mean, really of what? We're the ones out here getting hung, First of all, you're not getting hung right now. Second, the KKK hung more white people than it did black people because they were, what's the word for it? Abolitionist, or they were anti-segregation, activist.
Yeah.
So actually, no, the KKK kills more white people via hanging than does black people. I'm sorry.
I actually didn't know that.
It's true. You're welcome to look it up.
Interesting.
But I'm saying on every single level, the statement's wrong. We're out here getting shot, by other black people. But unfortunately, if you want to talk about it the other way around, black men shoot cops more often than the other way around. Sorry.
Yeah.
Facts is facts.
Yeah. It's truth over facts, bro.
So, sorry, but wrong on every single level. And then you're going to say, you're going to talk about the RNC and how awful the RNC was. The RNC was nothing but inspiring, you stupid cunt.
Yeah. It was
talking about fear. Oh, fear. What are you afraid of? Maybe getting mobbed and beaten. Because it keeps happening to us.
Yeah.
When I say us, I mean Americans. I'm not talking about skin color.
Yeah. No.
I mean people that are just trying to go about their daily lives or just being patriotic and supporting America. Keep getting mobbed and beaten outside the RNC, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's insane. It's stupid. It's asinine.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm sorry that you feel so strongly about it, but you're wrong on every level, so shut the F up.
Yeah, and then I also like how he's like, oh, it's so bad, for us black folk, and it's like...
Aren't you a millionaire? Really?
Yeah, aren't you making...
this country doesn't love you, that's why the number one artist right now is black, that's why the number one comedian's black, that's why most of the sports is black. The country doesn't love you? Well, then why are you in every entertainment position you could possibly be in?
Yeah.
We look to you for entertainment. What else is there? We basically idolize black people. That is love, if I've ever seen love. I mean,
for sure.
We appreciate the black community in America. There's no doubt about it. Some of us more so than others, since we actually regularly talk about the real issues facing them. But, that aside, this idea that America doesn't like black people is ridiculous. Makes no sense.
And also...
it's not founded in reality.
Yeah, it's not.
It's insulting. I'm tired of being... And this is what really pissed me off about it, is I'm tired of being insulted. I'm tired of being told that because I love this country, I don't love black people.
Yeah.
No, it's precisely really because this country is so good to black people, and where no other country in the world is, that I love this country.
Yeah.
It's because it's so good to Jews, and Asians, and women, that it's so good to everyone. It's so unbelievably equal in this country.
Yeah.
That's why we love this country. It's a free country.
It's great. And another counterpoint to about the country doesn't love us back. Oh, really? Because I seem to remember 5 minutes ago, not literally 5 minutes, but 8 years ago, when Obama was reelected in overwhelming fashion. He won
even when he didn't
more,
deserve to.
Yeah, even though he didn't deserve to. He was reelected overwhelmingly. He won by a lot more of a margin than he did the first time. And so that right there tells me, pretty sure America isn't racist. At all. And
no, we're stupid, but we're not racist.
Yeah.
I'll take credit for the stupidity, but we're not racist.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's crazy,
it's insulting because he's sitting there getting seriously emotional, but it's all over lies. And he's using his platform to slander America in ways that are completely untrue. to slander the RNC in ways that are completely untrue. And the other thing is, if the RNC wants to talk about fear, they're welcome to, because that's exactly what the DNC did. All they did was talk about how evil and awful Donald Trump is, and you should be afraid of a Donald Trump presidency.
Yeah.
Fear-mongering is the tool of the left. I hate to say it, but that's exactly how they get basically everything accomplished.
Yep.
And the RNC was mostly about hope and love for our country.
It really was. It was very much.
Yes, we did talk about the riots, because the riots are legitimately awful.
Yeah,
people are being victimized at an unbelievable rate.
Yeah.
People from the black community. Doc Rivers, you fucking crackhead.
Damn.
I'm not saying it because you're black, I'm saying it's so stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Unlike Joe Biden, we don't just make baseless accusations asking if someone's a druggie.
Well, I know. Anyways. I don't have to ask Doc Rivers if he's on drugs. I know he is. Look at the way he talks. Dude doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, obviously. Because obviously he was watching the DNC, not the RNC.
But anyway, that covers the Jacob Blake stuff more or less. Breonna report is in there. You can go and watch the video of the Minneapolis suicide riots.
Yeah. A couple things that I actually we forgot to hit on was so the viewership on for the RNC.
Oh, you didn't talk about that?
No,
yeah, that's the most important thing for me to take away, was that if you want to look at where the enthusiasm is, 6 times the viewership on C-SPAN for the RNC.
For the first night.
First night, yeah, but I mean that continued largely.
Yeah.
I mean that's pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, no, it's
blowing out of the water.
Yep. But
and most of the people watching the DNC are Republicans anyway, because they wanted to see what the agenda was.
Yeah, that's true.
Guarantee.
Yeah, I'm sure most of it actually was the Republicans.
Oh yeah, for sure. Anyway, moving on to our 4th topic. This is again back to our good old friend coronavirus. Had an article from The Blaze, and the real reason we're putting this in. This is actually pretty minor, but I want to actually make fun of the media here more than anything with this. We're seeing 2 separate studies once again, where hydrochloroquine with the Z-Pack and with the Z-Pack is reducing fatalities and hospitalizations. So there's just more evidence that the hydroxychloroquine works. Yeah. And the thing for me is of course it works. I mean, the studies that were done months ago on this. So it's kind of uninteresting, but just want to point out that it's the opposite of the truth. Always, opposite of the truth. That's going to be our theme on this show. Is that they told you hydroxychloroquine would kill you. It actually helps you not die. So I just want to make fun of the media there with that. That's really the important thing. And then I also wanted to point out the COVID deaths. I think we're doing, no one's really paying attention to this, but we're doing considerably better now.
Yeah.
We're still, I think we're averaging, unfortunately, the last couple of days, about 1,000 deaths a day, unfortunately. No, because I remember 3 days ago it was down to 400. But, we're going kind of up and down on that. But
yeah. But as a general trend, it's going down.
Yeah, generally speaking, I don't know if you noticed, but coronavirus really isn't in the news as much, as far as I can tell. Yeah?
Yeah.
Because, frankly, it's not a problem anymore. People are dying, yes, no doubt, but that is not the same thing as it being a problem.
Yeah, it's a lot more under control than it was, for sure.
For sure. All right, and this is the next topic I want to talk about. This is, for me, really one of the most interesting pieces of news from this week. Was that apparently Kim Jong Un is in a coma. Now, you'll remember a couple months ago when everyone's like, "Oh, you're crazy! It's not a body double. No, he's at least fine." After this heart procedure he supposedly has. Apparently, there's some sources from South Korean officials, alleging that he actually is in a coma. That's not Kim Jong Un. We've linked two articles there about that, and that is insane. So, what do you think that means for the world? Though, why? I mean, we have one of the worst dictators in the world, who we were engaged in regular talks with. He's not there, apparently.
I mean, I think that's a good thing, to be honest.
Well, I don't know if it's a good thing. I'm saying, what does it do for the world, though? Because
it's a good thing for humanity.
No, because his country's being run the exact same way, regardless. He is not the problem in that country. The problem is the government. He may be the head of the government, but you'll notice the government's not being run any different without him.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm saying that I don't really think that's actually an apt point. If he dies, he dies. Yeah, Hitler's dead. But my point is that it actually could be worse. Kind of like when you take out Gaddafi in Libya and all of a sudden you get open-air slave markets. As far as the citizens are concerned, what could happen if Kim Jong Un is no longer in power? Is there a power struggle and ends up becoming extremely violent? Do we get a lot of dead citizens? Like, what happens, man? So,
Right.
I'm saying on the world stage, though, what do you think that means? I'm kind of curious to see if that's true, first and foremost, because these are rumors.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm curious to see, if it is true, what does that mean for the world? I think
Yeah.
it actually is good in some respect because it's going to weaken their position, their bargaining position.
Yeah, it is.
Well, not having like a leader at the moment, I think they'll be easier to manipulate.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, what do you think, though?
Yeah. I mean, I think that this is going to be. I think it's interesting, to say the least. That
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really my thoughts. It's very interesting, and that it's something to keep our eyes on.
Well, that's why I said it's the most interesting story of the week. Again, I don't have a lot of details. I don't really know a ton about exactly how this is going to unfold or what the U.S. intelligence is on this situation, but that is a situation that I'm definitely keeping my eyes on, and you should too.
Yeah, for sure.
You, the viewer.
Yeah.
Made possible by viewers like you. You should you should keep an eye on this for real. It's really, in my opinion, one of the most fascinating things that coming out of this week.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen as far as that. Like, if this is true, and then like he dies or whatever, or he steps down, and he gives everything to his sister. I'm curious to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating. But yeah, that's going to be it for Kim Jong Un. The last thing I want to talk about today is really just going to be the fact that we have some fantastic people running for Congress in various parts of this country who could really use your support. I've linked their campaign websites. I'm sure you've all seen the Kim Klacik, the Baltimore ad she cut. That was pretty cutting.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
But the other two candidates that I'm really psyched about would be the Billy Prempa and Sean Parnell, and of course, obviously, Madison Cawthorn. Yeah, Madison Cawthorn. We'll try and get a link for his website as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really quite interesting.
Yeah,
it's really nice to see Republicans trying to win back some of these Democrat areas, because that's the thing, is you listen to like Billy Timpa and whatnot, and he'll tell you that the Republicans just don't try. Like, we don't even try to win some of these areas, you know? So I think that's good. I think it's a good shift for the party.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think Trump has been representative of a good shift for the party, and it's nice to see it continue.
Oh yeah, it's good to start seeing long-lasting effects.
Yes, for sure.
Having on our party. But yeah,
all right,
there was two quick things. Hold on. There was two quick things I did want to mention that I put in there. So the first was on CNN, Cuomo and Lemon finally acknowledged the riots.
It's hurting the poll numbers, guys. We can't have the poll numbers get affected.
Yeah.
Oh no!
They legitimately only brought them up to warn the Democrats, like, hey, this is gonna affect the polls. They didn't do it to condemn the violence or anything like that. They straight up just did it because they were like, oh, this is kind of hurting the polls. Maybe we should warn them. And it's just like, ooh, it's just
bad take, my dudes. Bad take.
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
The Democrats need to know it's hurting their poll numbers. Oh no, how terrible.
Yeah, and then the last thing was we kind of like mentioned it in passing, but Rand Paul, he got attacked by an angry mob, over like 100 people.
Then he pulled out his libertarian like Tommy gun and just sprayed them down. That is so great, because Rand Paul's the shit, man. Love me some Rand Paul. But if he'd just been like, this is America, pulls out a full-out Tommy gun, just I'd have been so happy. Like, honestly, even though it would have included the deaths of probably some people that didn't deserve to die, it'd have been so funny I'd overlooked it. Ooh. Libertarian Chad pulls out full-auto Tommy gun from, like, beneath trench coat.
Yeah. And apparently a whole bunch of them were saying, say her name, talking about Breonna Taylor.
Well, he authored the Breonna Taylor Act.
Even though he is the one who authored the Breonna Taylor Act, which was going to ban, no-knock warrants.
Which is a bad idea. I disagree with that.
Which is a bad idea.
I disagree. No, that's weird, because the thing with no-knock warrants is people don't understand. The reason you give a no-knock warrant is for a couple of reasons. One, you think that the person is liable to destroy evidence, so if you knock and say it's the police, maybe they'll flush the drugs down the toilet.
Yep.
Or you think they're going to be violent. You say, it's the police, and they're going to open up with a shotgun from behind the door.
Yeah.
Shoot you right through it, Yep. So you no-knock warrant because you're trying to catch them off guard.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, there are situations where if you can prove to a judge that this person is violent enough, then yes, you need the no-knock warrant.
Yeah.
Now,
for
I
sure,
think
but-
what I've seen that I think is disturbing, and he may have a point on, is no-knock warrants for red flag laws, where they'll no-knock warrant someone who's having their guns taken. The person
that's a bad
thinks they're
idea.
being robbed.
Yeah.
It's like you've now created a situation where neither people can be in the wrong if they shoot.
Yeah.
That's a really bad situation, because now what you're doing is you're victimizing people who had no reason to be victimized.
Yeah.
So I can
for
see
sure.
the argument against no-knock warrants for certain situations, but no, for violent offenders, no. I understand why you'd be... Like, known violent people who are also armed, could, like, really do you some damage if they knew you were there.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
but yeah,
why would you like to
that's
take us
something
out?
I wanted to. Yeah, but I just wanted to mention that 'cause it's sort of just ironic that they were like, say your name, but
Yeah.
he's the one who authored the bill.
Yeah,
Named
unfortunately,
after
this really wasn't a super news-heavy week. Hopefully, we'll come back next week with
Yeah.
just a bit more to talk about. The RNC was great, but also, honestly, it's a lot of information to cover, so we put a lot of links in there.
Yeah, a lot of links.
But if you watched it yourself, then you know it was great.
Yeah, and I would recommend that everyone at least watch I also included the list of all the speakers, or at least the ones that Trump announced. There's some in there that he didn't put in there, I guess, because he wanted it to be a surprise. But the most of the names are on the list.
Yeah.
I would go and see someone that you like, and they're like, oh, I want to see what this guy says. Go ahead and do that. But I included that on there as well. But yeah, I would definitely recommend for everyone to take a listen to at least listen.
No, do what you
RNC.
want. I'm not going to recommend anything. I'm saying you probably already watched it
that's
or
what I'm
watching this
recommending.
podcast. But
I'm
saying we've
recommending
listened to the
it.
speeches we thought were good.
Yeah.
Do what you want with it.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's going to be the conclusion of our podcast. Wyatt, would you like to roll us out?
Yep. So, first off, I just want to thank everybody for watching, who stuck with us as
Appreciate
always.
it.
Yep. We appreciate our viewers, and please, leave a comment, tell us, give us feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what you liked about what we covered, what you didn't like, and all that stuff, because we're just going to keep doing what we're doing.
I tried
unless we get
to,
feedback
in this
to the
episode,
otherwise.
rush it down to like a 1.5 hour, because I've noticed that those do slightly better, it looks like. If that's the case, awesome. If you don't like that, if you like the 2.5 hour long like rants, then let us know.
Yeah. Let us know what y'all want, and we'll.
Let us know how much you like the RNC.
Yeah, definitely. Let us know what your favorite moment from the RNC was. Let us know what your thoughts are on everything we talked about, and
There's a GoFundMe for Kyle Rittenhouse. If you feel like he deserves your money, please go give him some. He could definitely use it for his legal fees. It's being provided pro bono, but that lawyer could probably use some resources. So I imagine that the money would be extremely helpful.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then one last thing, Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever. No, but yeah.
Seriously, he
rest in
died. It
peace
was sad.
Yeah. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. That's really.
I don't know much about the politics or about his personal life, but I did enjoy the movie, so I'm very sad to see him go.
Yeah.
He's a good Black Panther.
Yep. Very, very much so.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. This is the conclusion of our 7th episode. See you next week.